Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we are doing 1994's True Lies, another Arnie classic.
Such a good movie.
It seems like, okay, I'm glad you got that out of the way because I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
A couple of things I noticed. One, this was like Arnie's peak.
Yes.
And two, this was almost 2.5 hours long. I didn't realize how long this was.
Yeah, they took a while to get to the plot.
Yeah, slow burn. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Hoorah!
So, before we get into it, if you want to reach out to Corey or I on Twitter, you can reach out to me at Junior D's. You can reach out to Corey at Idle Poncho. And of course, as always, if you would like to comment, leave the comments below and like, subscribe, and all that wonderful stuff.
Yay.
But True Lies, I'm reaching out and coming for you.
Yeah.
True Lies stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as Harry Tasker, Jamie Lee Curtis as Helen Tasker, Tom Arnold as Albert Gibson, or Gib, Tia Carrere as Juno Skinner, Bill Paxton as Simon. So good in this movie.
Dude, this guy is like, or was, rest in peace, was by far the best side piece actor that has ever existed.
Dude,
you put him in a supporting role and he just fucking jams on it. And it's amazing.
And quick side note, because this was also a James Cameron joint, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so who also directed Terminator.
Yep, and Aliens.
And Arnie and Bill Paxton were in Terminator together because Bill Paxton was the punk at the beginning of Terminator. Yes. So he likes working with, as do a lot of directors, like working with a lot of the same actors and such. But Bill Paxton is just so good in this.
So great.
He's fantastic. And then Eliza, is it Dushku?
That's how I say it. I don't know if that's what it is, but
and she plays Arnie's daughter, Dana Tasker, in this.
Yeah.
So we are, and it's a star-studded cast. Everybody does a great job, but we're introduced to Harry Tasker, and I love that they give him names in this that are so obviously like American. Yeah. Like, what's your name? Harry Tasker. Like, that's not your fucking name. Like,
no.
Can't you just come up with something that sounds kind of, I don't know, Eastern Blockish? And, like...
It's fine. It's totally acceptable to do that. We will accept you, Arnold. As we did, because your name is Arnold Schwarzenegger. We accepted you with that name. You can be that guy still.
I'm just throwing this out there. There are a couple of immigrants that have come from other countries around the globe to actually work in this country. Like, I hate that we treat him like he was born in Indiana. Like, no, my name is Harry Tasker. I was born in Indiana, and I shoot the basketball hoop. Dude, no, you're not. Stop it.
Like the entire film audience is Bill Cutting from Gangs of New York.
This opens up, and we're introduced to Harry and his team as he sneaks into a mansion during a very posh, exclusive party with, billionaires. And
this is why it's easy to accept that his name might be Tasker, because we're also forced to believe that he can blend in. Dude, Arnold Schwarzenegger does not blend in anywhere. Even at, Mr. Universe competitions, he doesn't blend in because he's bigger than everyone. This guy is a monster of a human being. And he's just supposed to be like, look at me. I look like just like Sean Connery. No.
In 1994, the only place he would have blended in is like a football or a hockey locker room. Like, that's it. That's
exactly.
But this obviously has the look and feel of a 007 type of movie. But he breaks into a room, he hooks up a modem, bing, to a computer that transmits files to his partners in the van. This is where he also meets Juno, played by Tia Carrere. And they talk about Persian sculptures and dance, security searching for whoever broke into the room, and he's trying to get away. And then I'm going to walk out the front door. I'm just going to walk out. Everything's going to be okay. And then things blow up and they get away.
Which I love the part where he says,
You tango?
She can tango. He holds and just,
He's
I am a
stiff as
mannequin
board.
doing my best to dance the tango.
Hey Arnold, spell tango, okay?
Not everybody could be a winner at everything, okay?
They fly back to DC. Gibb drives Harry home. Harry hides the fact that he's a spy from his wife and his daughter for obvious reasons. They think he's like a software salesman. Again, I love this movie, but dude,
Yes.
come on. A software salesman? Now, again, if Sean Connery's in this role, yeah, totally. I'm a software salesman. Like, I totally get it. It's cool. But, like, with Arnie, it's like, bro, can't you just say he sells, like, boxing gloves or something? Like, just something.
Or even like, hey, he's ex-military and he sells computer software to the Defense Department.
Yeah, or
Cool. It at least has a background that explains why you're married to a monster and you're like, man, he's a fucking nerd. Bill Paxton, though, looks like a spy.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, I don't know. I don't get it. You couldn't just say, like, no, I'm a consultant for the military and I tell them. That makes way more sense, but cool, software sales. Harry and his team find out that 4 nuclear warheads were smuggled out of Kazakhstan.
Naughty, naughty.
This is like, because there's 10 plots in this movie.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to, like, look into that. Then, while Helen's at work, Harry goes to surprise her. She's on the phone with Bill Paxton, and he overhears them talking about, meeting for lunch or whatever. So he goes, he spies on her. And then Harry goes to Juno's office to buy art. You already have a horrible cover as a software salesman. And now you're like, oh, my clients, they like art, and I just want to come and you have good Persian pieces here. And I'm not buying any of that either. So Tia Carrere, as much as because we see here that she's working for, like, the terrorists, and she's very money driven, we'll say.
Yeah, and this is how you know that they're not real terrorists. Like, we didn't know what Middle Eastern terrorism really was yet when this movie was made. Because one, they don't believe that women are, like, able to be the front of their operation, no matter how good it is. They believe women are here to make other terrorist babies, and that's it.
Yes.
So the fact that she gets to do anything is like, oh, you guys thought that was cute. And then, two, dude, she gets the shit slapped out of her twice.
Dude, I'm telling you what, in this, because you think that, like, the leader of the terrorist organization is just the guy pushing the broom in the back and cleaning off the sculptures. And then he comes in and, oh, you stupid bitch, and just starts smacking her around the fucking office, like.
Shit. And by the way, how's she supposed to keep her cover with a goddamn palm print on her face?
Miss Skinner, may I have a word with you, please?
And then she comes in. God damn, she got to see people when she leaves that office.
Oh my god,
Fuck.
dude. I've seen Lifetime movies that were less violent than this, like, whole scene put together.
Yeah.
Aziz smacks her around, says, you don't know who this guy is, and she's like, oh, we vetted him. Smack, smack. And then he gets his, like, his jacked terrorists. Now listen, again, not to get too deep into the whole terrorist thing. Since 9/11, we've seen lots of pictures of terrorists on the news, and not a single one of them is, like, jacked.
Oh,
but, like,
no, half the
there's,
guys
like,
in the back seat of the car trailing them are fucking Italian.
I
Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, you culture appropriating bastards. You couldn't find fucking 4 Middle Eastern dudes to act?
No, they were like, get those 3 jacked Middle Eastern dudes. They're like, they're Italian. Whatever. Put them in the back seat.
They picked up a fucking limo driver to make Captain Phillips. You can't fucking find 4 actors of Middle Eastern descent?
The next scene is them following the one jacked Italian and the Middle Eastern guy following Gib and Arnie. They stop at a mall. Arnie goes in, he's got the little glasses where you can see behind him, and he immediately goes to the bathroom where he pretends to take a piss for a half an hour and then sees the guy coming up from behind him. This scene is really good. Like, as far as fight scenes go, it's great.
It is probably, this is a weird kind of subcategory of fight scenes, but outside of Mission Impossible Fallout, this is like the second best bathroom fight scene ever.
Yes, I'll agree with
Mission
that.
Impossible Fallout was an amazing fight scene in the bathroom.
Yeah.
This one was really good, except for the comic relief part of like the old guy taking a shit. I could have done with like you're verging on like slapstick.
So,
and I want to believe in the violence that you're throwing at me, but also at the same time, it's like Professor fucking Colonel Mustard's taking a shit, and it's just not cool.
So the one note that I had on this movie was, because this is obviously an action movie, thriller kind of deal, but it also has a lot of humor to it. And it was a really good mix for most of the movie. But there are times like this where the comedy goes a little too far, where it's like, okay, is this super bad or is this like an action movie? So
right, exactly. Like a perfect example of that. I was just going to say, the perfect example of that is you have Tom Arnold, whose basic role is comic relief.
Yes.
That's the only purpose of him being there is comic relief, right?
Yep.
So why do you have Arnold telling so many goddamn jokes in this?
I know you're upset. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, if you left it with Tom Arnold and Jamie Lee Curtis, who was amazing as a comedic actress in this.
Yes, absolutely.
But just Arnold, like, oh, excuse me. Like, I don't need you to say excuse me 5 times during the horse chase scene. I get it. It's a horse. It's fucking awkward.
Or when he chases Aziz through, because Aziz comes in, gunplay, and then horseplay. He hops on. There's a motorcycle horse chase, the elevators, and then Aziz jumps to the other building, and then obviously Arnie's on a horse. And not that the motorcycle can make it, but in this movie it does. The horse obviously can't make it. It is a cool scene.
Even if it did make it, you're hitting that water, dude, and your spine is going through your tummy, and your head is going out the back of your asshole.
But then you have Arnold yelling at the horse like it's an actual cop kind of thing. As far as like Arnold's comedy in this, they went to a very dark place that I don't like to bring up very often, and it's called Jingle All the Way. Like,
yes,
that's where all of Arnold's comedy parts in this brought Jingle All the Way out of me. And I was just waiting for him at the end to be like, Turbo Man! And,
exactly.
Roll credits. But Harry and Gib tail Helen and listen to her conversation with Simon at the Chinese restaurant. This is where they find out that basically he's taking all their shit that's been in the paper and telling her that that's him and he's a spy and he's really a used car salesman.
And again, this is a funny scene too, because when they laugh, when they hear him talking, they're like, he's a fucking poser. And Arnold Schwarzenegger just goes, like, he really genuine, like, that's funny. Yeah. You don't have to try so hard, Arnie.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let the script be funny.
Exactly.
You don't have to make a face every time.
And after this, Harry goes to the used car lot where he works and test drives the Corvette. He tells them like the whole, this is how I pick up women, and Arnold tells him the whole like, oh, who's one of your latest women, and he tells him about his wife, and you have the dream sequence where he fucks him up in the car, and
I remember the first time I saw that, I was just like, oh shit. And then they did the quick flash cut.
After this whole thing, Simon picks up Helen, takes her to a trailer, which is his safe house.
This guy, I swear to God, this is where the inspiration for your and I's 20s came from. We're like, I'm a NASCAR driver. And I'm the CEO of Bugle Boy Jeans. That's why I'm wearing Walmart clothes. That kind of shit
Yep.
is totally where we were in our 20s.
Dude, when I was 25, outside of the mustache, just like the single mustache look, yeah, it was pretty much the same thing. It's like all I had in my cupboards were ramen noodles, and I was just like, "Hey, can I get your number?" No, I'm totally the vice president of sales and marketing at fucking The Limited or whatever.
I'm gonna make you a star. Here's my card that I just printed off.
It's on loose leaf paper with crayon.
Don't rub it too hard with your thumb or it'll smudge.
I printed it on my inkjet printer. He takes her to the trailer. Arnie and his crew come in, rip the goddamn trailer apart, fly in,
awesome.
Helicopters. They got the ski masks on. It looks like they're boning on his couch. They take Simon away. They take Helen away.
Yep.
And Harry and Gibb, they take Helen to an interrogation room.
Dude, this is when it like kind of gets very weird.
Yes.
For me,
yes.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like the next 20 minutes of this, it's just like, we all have special lady friends in this world, and they're like torturing her.
They basically say, well, we'll let you go free and clear, but you got to do some shit for us. Cool.
After they like hardcore interrogate her and threaten her family.
Yes.
Like,
So is cheating a common thing for you?
Did you sleep with him? You mean you did not have sexual relations with him?
that's a weird question. If I am in this situation, if I am Helen Tasker, and they keep pounding that question, like, Are you sure you didn't? Did you? Are you sure? Double dog swear you didn't. I'd be like, yo, Harry, get the fuck out here.
Well,
I know exactly what's happening at that point.
I'm at least at this point, I'm at least raising my hand and going, listen, guys, I know I might be in a lot of trouble because he's a spy or whatever. But I have some questions about your line of questioning. What does it matter if I fucked him or not? Like,
unless his semen's a biological weapon that's about to go airborne when I queef, you need to back the fuck up.
After this, Harry and Gibb take Simon to a random dam.
This was such a great scene.
This scene was really, and again, this is where the comedy is like, wow, like this is really good. So they take him out to the dam.
And to be clear, just in case, before we get the comments, I'm sorry, because we're going to get the comments. The reason they're torturing, it's torture for Helen, is because she hasn't done anything.
Yes.
You're torturing her over possible intent.
Yeah.
Whereas this fuckface is a scumbag.
Yes.
Just like we can look back at ourselves in our 20s and be like, ew. Like, I'd kick the fuck out of that guy if I saw him in a club today. You know what I mean? So, like, he deserves this because he's a scumbag and borderline predator for what he's been doing to women.
Borderline?
We don't see anything. But, yeah, it's predatory behavior. We'll go ahead and call it that.
Yes.
This scene is so great, and when they have it, like, I even have a little dick. It's pathetic. So good. Bill Paxton, like, take notes, Arnold.
Yeah, Bill Paxton does like he's crying and they're interrogating him, and then he finally, he admits he has a little dick. He pisses his pants, and he's in like a wife beater and like boxers.
Yeah.
And then they just leave him. And the best, like the cherry on top of the cake here is as they're walking away and they're like, what do we do with him? Just leave him here. And then as they're getting back into the truck, Tom Arnold just pops a couple of caps off like behind him as he's walking away.
Hit the bricks, dipshit.
That part made me laugh so hard. And it was just one of those things that was just almost like a throwaway.
Yeah,
but
so nonchalant. Nothing to it, but it was great.
Yeah. So after this, Helen gets the call. She's now thinks she's a spy. It gets set up where she goes to the hotel. She's supposed to be meeting this guy. He thinks she's a hooker, but he only likes to watch.
And
Like,
again, this is still fucking
like,
weird.
yeah, the whole setup here is weird. And then they have the French guy doing like the voice.
Do it very slowly.
I just thought in 1994, the technology that Arnold Schwarzenegger uses here is basically the same technology that I had available to me as a high school senior. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
this was, he was using a tape recorder. Like, I just figured for spies or the CIA or whatever agency they worked for, they had all this great technology except for this, and they were like, here, just use a tape recorder, bitch.
In fairness, they couldn't even afford to get Charlton Heston a glass eye. I would have wanted to know here what Arnold's plan was. Because you have her dance for you, right?
Okay, that's
and then you
what
tell
I was
her to
gonna
lay on
ask.
the bed and you're doing the rose thing.
And then you kiss her.
What is your plan? Are you just gonna, is this your big unveiling? Like, hey, I'm a spy, and I made you shit your fucking pants thinking you were gonna be just another fucking trick for this weird guy.
Yeah, that
you were
was
forced into, like, you're essentially about to get raped by the CIA or whatever spy agency this is, and your husband is perpetrating it, and you're just gonna be like, surprise, honey. Turns out I'm a big tough guy. Let's have an adventure.
During the whole thing, because, you know, it doesn't matter what Arnold's plan is, because all the buff Italians, I mean terrorists, come barging in the door, take them away, and she thinks that she's the spy. Like, that whole, like, miscommunication thing is kind of funny.
Harry, please just let me handle this.
So they take them to an island. He gets pumped full of truth serum. And she starts asking him questions. She now figures out, like, what he is and who he is.
Which, again, dude, Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie genuinely should have been nominated. I don't know if she was. I don't do research. That's not my job on this show.
That's not my thing.
That's not what I do.
We should get a guy.
She should have been nominated because she was fucking amazing in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Her comic timing was great. The faces she's making and, like, the little subtle crying she's doing when she's realizing that he's a spy and she's telling him the truth, when she's being interrogated and she loses her shit. Phenomenal job by her in this movie.
No, absolutely.
And I think that's part of the reason, actually, that I think Arnold needed to cool it with his attempts, because Tom Arnold's a comedian. Jamie Lee Curtis was a great comedic actress in this. Bill Paxton is a great comedic actor. He's just outclassed in this.
He just needed to play the straight man.
Exactly.
Which, you are the straight man. You're the spy.
Yeah. You're the tough guy spy who can get through any of this shit. You don't have to be, like, hilarious, too.
All they needed to do, because that's what they tried to do. That's why I said it got very Jingle All the Way kind of, because they put the ball in Arnold's court too many times. Listen, this is who Arnie is, okay? Flex, maybe a no shirt shot. He blows shit up, beats guys up.
You're fired.
Get down!
Stay.
The bridge is out!
And then it's the end of the movie. Give him his funny little one-liners. Have everybody else, because you assembled a great cast, let them all do their funny man thing or funny woman thing, and then end the movie. It's even with all the Arnold stuff, it's still a great movie, but it would have been so much better.
It's nice.
They break out and they escape. And this is when, like, you get to hear the terrorists' convoluted attempt to whatever the hell they're going to do. You need to free these people, and we're going to blow up this island and then that place and then this, and then they're putting an American flag on a nuke and burying it and pouring cement on it, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, like, you know, when the nuke goes off, the symbolism of the American flag, you know, blah, nobody's gonna fucking see it. It's disintegrated.
Because we know, and that's what matters.
When I do another Italian doing a Middle Eastern accent. But yeah, this plan, we alluded to the fact they're not really terrorists because Juno Skinner is the front person for this organization, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sign number 2 that they're not a real terrorist organization. They're giving you an or else. We now know there is no or else.
Yeah.
They're just detonating those bombs. Fucking period. End of the discussion.
Well,
there isn't like a, wow, you're going to free our people and get all of the troops home and out of the Middle East. If you detonate the bombs, guess where the troops got to go? Fucking back home. We got problems.
I give them a pass on that because that's like every movie like this is there's an or else. You have to have an or else there's no movie. There's just like, welcome to True Lies, funny, bomb, end credits. They're like taking the bombs away. They're on the bridge. Arnie gets saved. Helen gets kidnapped. Arnie tells them like, hey, this is what happened. So they just call they call Top Gun, and Top Gun comes in and they start shooting missiles at the bridge, blow the shit up. And then you have the scene which is actually another really cool action scene where Helen's in the limo and
come on, baby. Grab my arm.
He rescues her from the limo. Tia Carrere goes over the edge, and they fly away. They land, making out on the bridge with the nuke going off in the back.
Cover your eyes, dear.
So, funny thing is, when I first saw this movie, I thought it was the end of the movie. There's still another like half an hour left of this fucking thing.
Dude, this just goes. I agree with you. There should have been a way to wrap it up very quickly here. This next whole thing and the jet and the daughter, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, because the terrorists...
exhausting. Like, we get it. You redeemed yourself with your wife, and, you know, like, your wife now understands who you are, why things are the way they've been, and yada, yada. Cool. But now we got to go on a whole new fucking redemption arc with the daughter, too?
This is like one of those books where you have to pick the ending. Like, pick your journey. They find out that the terrorists kidnap his daughter. They're going to blow a nuke up in Miami. Arnold, because, you know, he's good at everything except for the tango, gets in a fighter jet and flies to Miami. They're in the building. The daughter steals the key to launch the nuke. She gets chased down out of the crane. As weird as this whole, like, double, triple ending is, this ending is phenomenal.
Great.
A lot of the shots from straight up down when they're on the crane, and you can see like all the cars, but the whole scene is just amazing. It's shot well. The action is good. It's suspenseful. The terrorist, chases her out on the thing. They get on the plane. He tries to tip the plane and knock the terrorist off. But, you know, he's backpack terrorist, so his backpack gets caught on the missile. And then Arnold gets the 2-for-1 deal here because he hits the missile. The dude goes through the building and hits the helicopter with all the other terrorists in him. And the entire helicopter goes down in flames. And happy ending, there you go. And then the fourth ending to this movie is a year later. It's Harry and Helen, Boris and Doris, and they're both spies. They do the tango, come full circle, the end.
You forgot we get to see Bill Paxton one last time.
Oh, as the waiter, and he pisses his pants again.
Yep, they get him again.
Oh, God.
Whenever you have, like, these teenage kids, son or daughter, and they're assholes at the beginning of the movie, and then dad, typically dad, it's hardly ever mom, dad gets the redemption arc, and it's like, pow! Everybody's white picket fence, Leave It to Beaver, 1950s household.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, your kid is still a teenager. It's gonna be a hormonal asshole for the next 4 to 5 years. Why are we pretending like, it's okay, my daddy's home. I went to church 5 days this week. Everything's great.
Well, in about 3 weeks, all these movies need to have a part 2 where it just focuses on the kid and the kid's PTSD, and, you know, a month later where they're like, fuck you, Dad, I want to take the car. And Dad's like, no, I don't want you to take the car. Quit being a bitch. You were being a bitch 2 months ago and I saved your life, remember? And there's like a whole like fight between the parents and the
Yes.
rebellious kid, because that's literally what happens next.
Oh yeah. Well, what'll probably happen is
The relationship's
in
good
a realistic
for a month.
sequel of this, they're shipping Elijah Dushku off to the military because once again, there's a massive ground war about to take place. A nuclear fucking bomb just went off in the Florida Keys.
Yes.
You're right.
But as we do, does this movie stand the test of time, Corey?
It does. Outside of the really uncomfortable, like, torture, pseudo raping of his wife, it is. It definitely holds up. It's a very good movie. It's still funny. The jokes aren't too dated. Like I said, there's that one joke about Axl Rose and Madonna that's dated.
Yeah.
Everything else, it fits. It's great. I loved it.
No, I loved it too. It's still, again, it's easy to make fun of just because Arnold, both of them, Schwarzenegger and Tom. But
Yes.
it's an easy movie to make fun of. There's obviously a lot of plot holes and things that you could fix about it, but it's still super entertaining. It still holds up. And again, the only thing, I would change two things about this movie. One, take Arnold outside of his one-liners, out of the comedy.
Yep.
Like, remove him from that, let the other cast members do their job. And then this movie needs to be shorter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fat to trim on this movie. Like,
A lot.
you have 3 alternate endings at the end of this movie. Just
Yes.
go with one, and you're losing probably 40 minutes off the end of this film, and
Yep.
it's just under 2 hours. That's
You
good.
could also cut the 5 minutes where Jamie Lee Curtis has to explain to all the dipshits in the audience that the Florida Keys are connected by rows of highway, and it's part of the United States, so there are no borders or customs. Like, how the fuck do people not know that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you could remove that. You could remove some parts at the beginning, because it is a slow burn. Like
You can sum up what their marriage and how fucked up their daughter is within like a 2 or 3 scene arc. You don't need the full exposition.
Dude, go look
we
at
have to go.
Fear accomplishes the same thing in a 5-minute scene.
Yeah, it's a shitty dad's not home, mom's slut shaming me. I'm getting fingered on this roller coaster. Fuck you.
Exactly. And on that note, do you have anything else for this movie?
No, I think I spoke way too much.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1994's True Lies.
Twat us on Twitter.